Hey YouTube, it's me. I just came back with another quick video. You all may not know this, but I'm a pediatrician. I take care of kids during the day. That's my day job. And I've noticed a very, very disturbing trend over the last, really 2 years or so. And that is that children cannot stay still anymore. And the parents are complaining, and the teachers are complaining. And I've noticed a correlation, like the kids who really, really can't sit still are also the children who I notice that parents tend to give cell phones, the smartphones or iPads or, iPod touches or some type of tablet or some type of something. And I think that what is happening is that the children are being overstimulated. And what parents are actually doing is creating little crackheads. Yes, like the same, obviously not crackheads, but the same type of dynamic is happening because the electronic devices stimulate the same portion of the brain that is stimulated. The pleasure centers, basically, they're stimulated by drugs and sex and alcohol and gambling, things like that. Things that make you addicted to things. And so when I started to think about this, children are born knowing how to do like four things. They know how to cry, they know how to suck, they know how to urinate and poop, and that's it. And even sleeping, sometimes you have to sort of teach them how to sleep, sleep by yourself, things like that. Everything else a child has to learn. Even learning how to keep themselves quiet and how to entertain themselves. And so what is happening now is that they're not learning how to entertain themselves. They're not learning how to keep themselves quiet. The minute an 18-month-old starts, being agitated or starts crying or whatever, this is what we do. And we give it to them, and then they're like, and parents are so proud now. They're so proud. They're like, oh, my little 1-year-old, he knows how to operate that. Look, that's not cute. That's not good, because you are making, for all intents and purposes, a child who's addicted to this electronic device or something like it. And they no longer know how to quiet themselves down. And so when you think that you've been giving this child this electronic device, this sort of like pacifier that stimulates them to keep them quiet, now all of a sudden they have to go to kindergarten or pre-K or what have you and sit down at a table and have a blank piece of paper and a crayon, and you now wonder why they can't sit still. It's because they've never learned how to sit still. So yes, it's aggravating when you have that 18-month-old and they're like, but what did we used to do like 20 years ago? We used to say, shh, and you would pat them and you do that like in church, for instance. And that is how a child learned which instances and which circumstances and which places they needed to be quiet in. And what did the child do? After a while, they just, and then they would find a way to quiet themselves. It's sort of like teaching a baby how to sleep through the night. You kind of get up and pat them and you put them to bed and be like, mommy's right here. Just sleep, just sleep. And you, oh, just sleep, just sleep. And they learn. And we're not allowing children to learn. And, don't get me wrong, I'm not against electronics, but I think no child under the age of 5, take it from a pediatrician, should have access to any type of electronic device. And the other thing we're doing is we're saying, well, we download educational material, but still there's too much stimulus. There's too much of this frenetic activity going on, and they're like this, and you take it from them, and they cry. Anything that you need to give your child to settle them down and calm them down, they're addicted to that thing, whether it be the pacifier, a bottle, whatever it is. So mark my word, because if we don't stop doing this, every child we know in the next 10 to 15 years, mark my word, every child you know is going to have a diagnosis of attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, and they're going to be on some form of Ritalin, which is methylphenidate, or some other form of a stimulant. Now, ADHD is a real neurological thing, and or that's what we learn. There are some chemical imbalances, and that's why we give these stimulants: Focal and Vyvanse, methylphenidate, all the Metadate CD, all those names. That's why we give it, because it helps to balance things out. But there's going to be a whole other entity that will happen if we do not stop giving the children these electronic devices. So please mark my word. Warning, warning, warning. Danger, danger. Stop giving them that, okay? And let's hopefully try to save a generation of children. Thank you. Bye-bye.